There will always be people in life who don't respect you. It doesn't matter how kind, hardworking, or successful you are. Some people will try to undermine you, ignore your value, or take advantage of your kindness. But here's the truth. How people treat you is a reflection of them, but how you respond is a reflection of you. Today, we're going to talk about the 5 most powerful ways to handle disrespect so that you don't waste your energy, lower your standards, or let anyone steal your peace. The way you allow people to treat you is a direct reflection of how you see yourself. If you tolerate disrespect, it continues. If you demand respect, it follows. It all starts with you. Most people think respect is something that others should just give them, that it's a given. But the truth is, people take cues from how you treat yourself. If you don't hold yourself in high regard, why should they? If you don't draw a line in the sand, why would they stop stepping over it? You see, the first mistake people make is thinking that respect is something they can beg for, ask for, or even force. It's not. Respect isn't demanded, it's commanded, and the way you command it is by becoming a person who naturally attracts it. When you carry yourself with self-respect, it creates an unspoken standard. It tells the world, this is how I expect to be treated, and anyone who refuses to meet that standard will naturally fall away. The problem is many people have been conditioned to tolerate less than they deserve. Maybe you grew up in a home where boundaries didn't exist, where disrespect was the norm, or where standing up for yourself led to conflict. Maybe you've been in relationships where the more you tolerated, the worse it got. And over time, you started believing that this is just how people are, but it's not. It's just how you've been allowing them to be around you. Self-respect isn't just about what you accept from others, it's about what you accept from yourself. If you keep making excuses for toxic behavior, if you keep giving second chances to people who don't deserve them, if you keep prioritizing their comfort over your own peace, then you're teaching them that your boundaries don't matter. And once you send that message, it's hard to undo. Think about the strongest, most respected people you know. Do they explain themselves endlessly? Do they beg for respect? Do they allow people to walk all over them? No. They carry themselves in a way that commands respect without having to ask for it. That's because they've done the internal work. They've learned that self-respect is a muscle that you have to build. And that muscle is strengthened every time you say no when you mean no. Every time you walk away from something that doesn't serve you. And every time you remind yourself that you are worthy of better. So how do you build that kind of self-respect? It starts with the small things. The way you speak to yourself. The way you hold your own boundaries, even when no one is watching. The way you choose yourself over and over again, even when it's uncomfortable. Because every time you let disrespect slide, you're telling yourself that your comfort, your peace, and your standards don't matter. And when you do that often enough, you start to believe it. But when you flip the script, everything changes. When you start carrying yourself like someone who deserves respect, people take notice. The same people who once dismissed you start listening. The ones who took you for granted start realizing what they had. And the ones who never respected you to begin with, they disappear because they can't survive in the space of someone who values themselves. This isn't about being rude or cold or distant. It's about knowing your worth so deeply that you no longer tolerate anything less. It's about moving in a way that tells people, I don't need you to respect me. I respect myself enough to not let your disrespect affect me. And when you do that, when you truly embody that level of self-respect, the world responds accordingly. People will either rise to meet your standards or they will fall away. Either way, you win because you're no longer waiting for others to give you permission to be valued. You've already given that permission to yourself. And that right there is the ultimate power. Not every act of disrespect deserves your reaction. In fact, the most powerful response you can give is silence. When someone disrespects you, your immediate instinct might be to react, to defend yourself, to argue, or to prove them wrong. But here's what happens when you do that. You feed into their negativity. You give them control over your emotions, and you waste energy that could be used on something far more valuable, your growth. Silence is not weakness. It is not avoidance. It is strength. It is control. It is the ultimate way to disarm someone who thrives on getting a reaction out of you. Because here's what disrespectful people want. They want to push your buttons, they want you to lose your cool, and they want to feel like they have power over you. When you respond with silence, you strip them of that power. You show them that their words and actions have no control over your peace. Think about this. Have you ever argued with someone who was clearly trying to get a rise out of you? Maybe it was a coworker who constantly undermined your efforts, a toxic friend who made snide remarks, or even a family member who always had something negative to say. The moment you engage, the moment you argue back, you're playing their game. You're stepping into their level of negativity. And no one wins in that space. Even if you win the argument, you still lose energy, time, and peace of mind. But what happens when you stay silent, when you don't react, when you don't even acknowledge their attempt to shake you? It frustrates them. It forces them to question themselves. It makes them realize that their words have no impact. And eventually they stop because they're no longer getting the reaction they crave. Silence speaks louder than words. It tells people that you are unbothered, that you are too focused on your own growth to waste time on petty behavior. It tells them that you refuse to give their negativity any space in your life. And most importantly, it tells them that their disrespect is beneath you. Now, let's be clear. Silence doesn't mean allowing people to walk all over you. It doesn't mean you tolerate disrespect. It means you choose where to place your energy. It means you set boundaries and enforce them with action, not with wasted words. If someone consistently disrespects you, your silence should come with a decision. Do they still deserve access to you? If someone at work constantly belittles you, maybe you stop engaging with them and start focusing on your own excellence instead. If a friend continues to cross boundaries, maybe you distance yourself and let them feel the absence of your presence. If a toxic relationship drains your energy, maybe your silence is the beginning of walking away completely. People remember silence more than they remember words. Because words can be argued with, they can be twisted, they can be ignored. But silence lingers. Silence forces people to reflect. Silence makes them wonder what they did wrong. Think about it. When someone texts you a long paragraph of anger, what do they expect? A response. When someone tries to insult you, what do they expect? A reaction. When someone disrespects you, what do they expect? A defense. When you stay silent, you give them none of that. And in doing so, you win. Your energy is sacred. Not everyone deserves access to it. The moment you start protecting it, the moment you start choosing silence over unnecessary battles, you will notice something incredible. Peace. You will feel lighter. You will feel stronger. You will realize that most of the fights you used to engage in were never worth it to begin with. You don't owe anyone your reaction. You don't owe anyone an argument. You don't owe anyone a response that drains you. You owe yourself peace. You owe yourself boundaries. You owe yourself the ability to walk away from anything and anyone that disrupts your inner calm. So the next time someone disrespects you, take a deep breath. Instead of reacting, pause. Instead of engaging, observe. And instead of wasting your energy, stay silent. Let your silence be your power. Let your silence be your answer. And watch how everything starts to shift in your favor. When you rely on external approval, you give people control over how you feel. Think about that for a second. Every time you seek validation from someone else, whether it's a friend, a partner, a colleague, or even a stranger, you're handing them the power to decide your worth. And that's dangerous because the moment they choose not to give you approval, you start to question yourself. You start to wonder, am I good enough? Did I do something wrong? What do I need to change so they'll like me? But here's the reality. No matter what you do, you will never please everyone. You could be the most talented, kind, hardworking person in the room, and someone will still find a reason to criticize you. Why? Because people don't see you as you are. They see you through the lens of their own insecurities, experiences, and biases. If they don't respect you, it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with their perception. So let me ask you this. Why are you basing your self-worth on opinions that are constantly shifting? One day people praise you, the next they tear you down. If your confidence depends on that, you're setting yourself up for a lifetime of emotional instability. And that's exactly why the strongest, most successful people don't seek validation. They validate themselves. Now, I get it. It's human nature to want acceptance. From the time we're kids, we're taught to look outside ourselves for approval. We want our parents to be proud, our teachers to acknowledge us, our friends to like us. But at some point, you have to break free from that conditioning. You have to realize that your value isn't determined by external approval, but by how you see yourself. Think about some of the most powerful people in history, leaders, innovators, trailblazers. Do you think they got to where they are by worrying about what others thought? No. They believed in themselves, even when others doubted them. They stayed focused on their goals, even when people criticized them. And most importantly, they didn't let the opinions of others dictate their self-worth. Now let's talk about what happens when you stop seeking validation. When you stop caring about what people think, you gain freedom. Freedom to be yourself, freedom to make decisions that align with your values, freedom to walk away from situations that don't serve you. And that kind of freedom is rare. Most people are trapped in a cycle of seeking approval. They stay in relationships they don't want to be in because they're afraid of being judged. They pursue careers they hate because they want to impress others. They silence themselves in conversations because they fear rejection. But when you let go of that need for validation, you start living for yourself, not for anyone else. And here's something interesting. When you stop seeking approval, you actually start gaining more respect. People are drawn to confidence. They admire those who are secure in themselves. When you no longer seek validation, you give off an energy that says, I know who I am. I don't need your approval. And that energy is powerful. It makes people pay attention. It makes them want to earn your respect instead of the other way around. So how do you stop seeking validation? It starts with awareness. Pay attention to the moments when you're looking for approval. Ask yourself, am I doing this because I genuinely want to, or because I want someone else's validation? The more you recognize these patterns, the more you can break free from them. Next, practice self-venegation. Instead of waiting for someone else to tell you that you're good enough, tell yourself. Build your confidence by setting goals and achieving them. Remind yourself of your strengths. Celebrate your wins no matter how small. The more you validate yourself, the less you'll need it from others. And finally, accept that not everyone will like you, and that's okay. You weren't put on this earth to please everyone. You were put here to be yourself, to live your truth, to follow your own path. So stop giving away your power. Stop seeking approval from people who don't even have their own lives figured out. And most importantly, start believing that you are enough exactly as you are, because the moment you do that, the need for validation disappears, and that's when you truly become unstoppable. Setting boundaries isn't just about keeping negative people out. It's about protecting your energy, your self-worth, and your peace of mind. When someone disrespects you, it's not just about their actions, it's about what you allow. Every time you let disrespect slide, you teach people that it's okay to treat you that way. And the hard truth is people will keep pushing your limits if they see that you don't enforce them. Boundaries aren't rude. They aren't selfish. They are necessary. They are the lines that define where your self-respect begins and where another person's influence ends. Yet, so many people struggle with setting boundaries because they are afraid of losing relationships, afraid of being judged, afraid of being labeled as too much. But here's what you need to realize. The people who truly respect you will never be offended by your boundaries. The only ones who have a problem with them are the ones who benefited from you having none. Think about this for a second. Have you ever noticed how people who genuinely love and care about you never cross certain lines? You don't even have to tell them because they respect you. They just don't do it. But those who don't, they will test you. They will push you. They will take advantage of every single time you let something slide. And if you continue to let it happen, you're not just a victim of their behavior, you become a participant in your own mistreatment. The first step in setting boundaries is recognizing your own worth. If you don't value yourself, why should anyone else? When you tolerate constant disrespect, when you allow people to talk down to you, manipulate you, or take advantage of your kindness, you are silently telling the world that you don't think you deserve better. And the world responds accordingly. But let's be clear, setting boundaries doesn't mean you have to be aggressive, rude, or cut people off without explanation. It means you are clear, firm, and unwavering about what you will and will not accept. If someone speaks to you in a condescending way, you don't have to argue or engage in drama. A simple, I don't appreciate being spoken to that way. If it continues, I will remove myself from this conversation is enough. If someone constantly takes advantage of your time, walking away from disrespectful situations or toxic individuals is one of the most powerful and transformative actions you can take for yourself. It may seem difficult, even counterintuitive at times, to leave situations or people behind, especially when you're accustomed to trying to make things work, fixing things, or giving others the benefit of the doubt. But here's the thing. When someone repeatedly disrespects you, staying in that environment does not only drain you emotionally, it also teaches the other person that they can continue to cross boundaries without consequence. It teaches them that your worth is negotiable, that your peace is not as important as their behavior. Walking away is not about giving up. It's about protecting your mental and emotional well-being. When you walk away, you're taking control. You are telling that person and yourself that you value yourself enough to not tolerate behavior that doesn't align with your worth. You're putting a stop to the disrespect before it has the chance to become a pattern. So many times we fall into the trap of trying to prove ourselves, fighting for respect, trying to make others see our value. But what if instead of fighting for validation, we simply chose to walk away from situations that don't honor us? This doesn't mean that you should walk away every time someone disagrees with you or challenges you. Not every conflict is disrespectful. Not every disagreement is toxic. The key is recognizing when someone's behavior is consistently harmful, dismissive, or belittling, and understanding that you are not obligated to stand for it. Recognizing when to walk away is about being emotionally intelligent and understanding that not every battle is worth fighting. There are moments when engaging in the conflict only leads to more negativity and emotional exhaustion. Walking away is a form of self-care and self-respect. It's choosing your peace over petty drama or toxic interactions. It's about reclaiming your energy and prioritizing your mental health. Imagine this. Every time someone disrespects you and you choose to stay, you are handing them a piece of your emotional energy. When you walk away, you keep all of that energy for yourself to focus on things that matter and people who value you. One of the most common fears people have when it comes to walking away is the fear of losing relationships. We fear being seen as weak or rude, or we worry that others will think we're incapable of handling situations. But here's the reality. If someone truly values you, they will respect your decision to step away from disrespectful behavior. When you walk away from a situation or person that disrespects you, you are not abandoning them. You are teaching them that their behavior is unacceptable, and if they want to maintain a connection, they must change. Walking away can serve as a lesson in personal boundaries. Boundaries are not just lines drawn in the sand. They are a statement of who you are and how you expect to be treated. When you allow someone to disrespect you and continue engaging with them, you're essentially telling them that it's okay to cross your boundaries. By walking away, you reinforce that you have limits and that you won't allow anyone to cross them. It's an act of taking your own power back, and it communicates that you are not afraid to let go of relationships or situations that aren't serving your growth and peace. The beauty of walking away is that it opens up space for something better. When you remove toxic people from your life, you create space for healthier, more fulfilling relationships. You're sending out the message to the universe that you value yourself. And when you put yourself first, you begin to attract people and opportunities that align with your values and goals. It's easy to stay because we're afraid of the unknown, or we hold on to the hope that things will change. But more often than not, staying in toxic situations only prolongs your suffering. Walking away is a declaration that you are not willing to settle for anything less than respect and kindness. It's about releasing the fear of being alone or the anxiety of change and stepping into the freedom that comes with self-love and self-worth. Sometimes walking away might even look like cutting people off completely. This doesn't mean you have to hold anger or resentment in your heart. It simply means recognizing that this person or situation no longer aligns with who you are or where you're headed. Holding on to toxic relationships for the sake of familiarity or comfort is like holding on to dead weight. It's only holding you back from your true potential and the life you deserve. Walking away doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're protecting your peace and empowering yourself to rise above the negativity. It's about choosing to surround yourself with people who lift you up, respect you, and add value to your life. And most importantly, it's about recognizing that your time, energy, and emotional well-being are worth more than anything or anyone that disrespects you. Walking away is not weakness, it is strength, self-respect, and an acknowledgement of your worth. So the next time someone disrespects you, remember, you have the power to walk away. And when you do, you'll be amazed at the new energy and opportunities that will come into your life. When you focus on your growth, you shift your energy from reacting to negativity to building something unstoppable. The truth is, people who don't respect you are distractions. They are roadblocks meant to slow you down, steal your energy, and keep you stuck in their level of insecurity, pettiness, and drama. But the moment you decide that their opinions no longer matter, you free yourself. You free yourself to grow, to evolve, and to become the kind of person who no longer entertains disrespect because you are too busy creating a life that demands respect. Think about it. Every successful, confident, and powerful person you admire has one thing in common. They don't waste their time trying to change people who don't respect them. They don't get caught up in meaningless battles. They don't argue, they don't chase, and they don't try to prove their worth. Why? Because they are focused on something bigger. They are focused on their vision, their goals, and their personal growth. So here's the question. What are you focusing on? Are you giving your time and energy to people who don't even value you? Are you letting their disrespect define how you feel about yourself? Are you allowing their small-minded opinions to take up space in your mind? If you are, it's time to stop. It's time to shift your energy from proving yourself to improving yourself. The best response to disrespect isn't arguing, it's leveling up. It's becoming the person they never thought you could be. When you focus on your growth, you stop being reactive and start being intentional. You start making choices that align with your highest self. You stop wasting time on petty drama and instead invest in yourself. You read more, you learn more, you take care of your body, your mind, and your future. And as you grow, something incredible happens. People who once disrespected you start to notice. They see your confidence, your success, and your progress, and suddenly they realize they were wrong about you. They start respecting you, not because you demanded it, but because you became someone they can't ignore. And here's the truth. When you level up, you outgrow people who don't respect you, and that's a good thing. The people who are meant to be in your life will rise to your level, and those who aren't will fade away. That's how you win. You don't win by fighting for respect. You win by becoming undeniable, by becoming someone who commands respect simply by the way they carry themselves. So the next time someone disrespects you, don't waste your breath trying to prove your worth. Instead, use that energy to grow, to build, and to elevate yourself. Because the best revenge isn't proving them wrong, it's proving yourself right.